Hi, this is Dr. Tanya Sanders, and we are going to be doing our vlog again today. And Dr. Roger Manier and Judy Tucker will be joining me soon. And basically, I want to talk about the digital tools that we think are essential to working online with students, whether you're at home or whether you're face-to-face. And actually, all of these tools can be used when you're face-to-face. I think that's the important message. So I'm looking forward to talking about this with Dr. Roger Manier and Judy, and they should be joining us soon. Basically, I thought since last week we did, let's digitize everything. I thought, why not talk about some of the tools that we think are essential? And we do have one of these playlists on our YouTube channel at NWOET Tech Time. We have it on there that we had talked about before, 2019, 2020, that we thought that there's 5 essential tools that you need to be successful online. And the major one was a learning management system. So like Google Classroom. One of them was a, share collaborative tools, which includes Google Docs, spreadsheets, Google Presentation, all of those things, like so the students could collaborate in it. A screencasting tool, which could be Zoom if you use it by yourself, Google Meet if you use it by yourself, Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic. An annotation tool like Kami, and I think that's the only one we ever talked about, but some of our districts use Doc Hub. Is that what it's called? Anyone? I think it is called Doc Hub. And then the last one was an assessment tool. So those are the 5 things that we've kind of said you have to have a consistent use across your K-12 school district, those tools. So I thought maybe we could talk about some of those today, the tools that you think are important to teaching a lesson online. Do you guys have any tools that come to mind, or any topics that come to mind with that?
I was to say the 2 tools that I have been doing the most training in the last year are ones from the past that have been around, which is a good sign that they are still in existence and that I think were always valuable, and that's why they're easy to use. And that's one of the things I think across all K-12, you've got to have things that are not too complicated. And sometimes those learning management systems are a little bit much for kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade. And so the one that I have been pushing is Hyperdocs, which I don't have the exact year it came into existence, but 3 gals from California came up with the name and what a Hyperdoc should look like. But it's a digital lesson, and it's easier for lower grade students that going into a learning management system is just way more difficult for them and to manage. And so, and there's so many ways you can customize Hyperdocs that it's just a one document. And my favorite way is to do it into either, like a slide, Google Slides or Google Docs or whatever system, if it's Microsoft, whatever system where the students can share it, the teacher can share it, the teacher can actually, email the link to it, or even put it in a class, in a learning management system, but it's one document where the entire lesson can be in that document if you're using it to provide a lesson for students. And the teacher could put a link to a collaboration document so the students could work on something by just going through that document. They don't have to get a separate email with a link to or they don't have to create a document. I mean, to ask a 1st or 2nd grade student, or even a special needs student of any age, to create a document and share it is a bit much for many students. So a Hyperdoc can really serve that purpose of being the single point of that lesson, and just as many different things. You can put videos in it. Just anything you could put in a learning management system, you can put in that Hyperdoc pretty much.
You know,
So that's-
Judy,
Yeah, Judy, Hyperdoc sounds scary, but it is really incredibly simple. You can make one you can learn to make one in like 15 minutes.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And it's just an incredibly powerful, extremely simple way to organize information. Like you say, you don't have to use a learning management system. I'm a great fan of learning management systems, Google Classroom, among others, incredibly useful. But like you said, here it is. It's all on one page, and just click here to see the picture. Click here to share your thoughts. Click here to take a quiz, and it's all on one sheet of paper. Kids don't have to know anything except, here's your email, open this up and do what it says. So
Right,
it is the modern day version of a workbook, and just incredibly powerful and reusable from year to year too.
As I was gonna say, there are so many examples online that you can download with no fees. Of course, there's teacher pay teacher ones as well, but I didn't even go that route. When I did the trainings, I found so many sites. I had to actually stop because there were too many sites with teachers sharing their Hyperdocs, from ones that were for kindergarten and first grade to ones that were very involved for high school, say science and math.
And a comment about parents too. I'm always concerned about how can we make sure parents can help their kids, especially the littles, the K, pre-K, 1, 2, 3. And the use of these Hyperdocs, it really, really can help get parents engaged and involved in as well. Because you send a paper note home, always send your instructions in paper format to parents for those that aren't comfortable getting there online. How to get online to read your instructions. Well, if I knew online, I wouldn't have to do it. It's like, here you go here. This document will tell you everything you need to do. Just where it says click here, click. And really simple. It's a great thing to demonstrate at parents' nights and so forth. I agree, Judy. The name sounds sort of scary. It has been around more than 30 years. So this is it's one of these old tools that's new again, especially as more and more kids have internet at home. So,
well, I think I like the part about sharing with parents, because you can give the parents viewing rights where the student has rights to, to go in and go to those documents and actually add and collaborate together with their classmates. So
now,
Yeah,
for any out of classroom work, is it the students or is it the parents or someone else's? That's another discussion that maybe we'll add that to a future vlog, just to talk about that a little bit. But,
yeah, and I never thought of Hyperdocs as being a learning management system. I'm glad you labeled it that, Judy, because that's kind of how we think of our lessons and we write our lessons, is that first we do this and the kids are going to click here, and then second we do this and the kids look at this and then they write that. And sometimes that gets lost in learning management systems like Canvas or Blackboard or Google Classroom or Schoology. It's the organization portion that complicates a learning management system. And if it's just listed there and first you do this, second you do this, then I think the Hyperdoc is perfect for that. And then Roger, you said it's intimidating, and it is, because when Judy brought it back, it scared me when she's just like, oh, I'm going to start teaching Hyperdocs. I think this is a really valuable tool. It did scare me. I mean, I used to teach, what was it called? It was we taught it in the hypermedia class, but we did Hyperdocs in there too. And it is so simple, but the concept of other digital tools that use hyper, blah, blah, whatever the end of it is kind of intimidating, whereas Hyperdocs is more simplified. And learning management systems Moodle tried this to create a lesson thing built into their learning management system and was not successful. No one ever used it. It was called lesson. And so you do step one. And if the student completed step one, they'd move on to the next one. And it was all digitized and you know, controlled by the learning management system, whereas what Judy's talking about is just boom, print it, piece of paper, like you said, Roger, boom, digitize it. The kids click on one. When they're done with one, they move on to two. When they move on, and it is not necessarily numbered. There's many wonderful formats, creative ways that they do present the information in that. But yeah, I never thought of it that way, Judy. That's a great point.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking you could even create a shortened bit.ly.com link to the document that you could give parents, you know, to go to. Make two versions of it, one for parents that looks just like the student one, and the student one would actually have links to documents that they could share and collaborate.
And Judy, I know that you do workshops on this, that, you know, you can do a customized one for the school. You, depending on when you're watching this vlog, check it out. You'll see that Judy has a couple different videos, you know it now, how to do Hyperdocs, both a short one, a 20-minute long one, and then a longer one that goes into greater detail. And again, I'd be very glad to do a workshop. I'm sure you would, right, Judy? Would be glad to do either a live Zoom workshop or an in-person workshop for schools. But literally in 20 minutes, you can begin to do this, and in an hour, you can be pretty good at creating these.
Yeah, the great part about the ones online is that I have never found any that you couldn't make a copy and customize. And so you can put your own twist to it, check the links, because the links aren't always valid. They do have some dead links, and so you would definitely need to check that, but you don't have to start from scratch and make your own, although it's, I think, more fun to do that. But the graphics and things on some of these ones that you find online take people a long time. I especially talking about my sister-in-law's PE one. And so if anybody wants to email me, and it's a PE teacher, and especially if you're requiring remote learning again, or just have students that are out of school for a period of time, if you're a PE teacher, and again, she spent hours and hours with the help of people sharing information with her to do exercises. Every little ball and jump rope and everything on the slide links to a video of that activity, and different grade levels do different amounts of time and so forth. So it's pretty cool.
And I'm going to throw in there. So, I mean, to me, and you've heard this over again today, as well as in earlier ones, the most essential part of helping students succeed and become engaged and learn online is to make sure they know what they're supposed to do. And Hyperdocs, as well as learning management systems like Google Classroom, Schoology, and so forth, that's what they're intended to do, is organize things in a way that students and their parents will know, what is it I'm supposed to do today, so they don't get lost. You Google something, there's 42 million results. We don't want 42 million results. We want to make sure our students, especially our students who are struggling to learn, who maybe are not as engaged, or who have special needs, we want to make sure all of our students and their parents know what they're supposed to do. Hyperdocs, the easiest of the learning management systems, and I love you labeling it that way, Judy. I don't know, for some of the presentations that you've got scheduled at conference and things, maybe we can get the title changed to the easiest learning management system there is, which, and very, very powerful.
Well, we can also play on words, not learning management system, but lesson management system.
Lesson system and learning system. Donnie, I see we're almost out of time.
Yeah, we are. And I think
that's safety.
We can actually talk next time about some of the other tools that we've mentioned, and also maybe tag on a little bit of safety, security, policy within districts, student data, protecting our students, protecting our identity, that kind of stuff through something when using these tools. So
you can't learn online unless you're safe online. Safety and security is always the first thing for our students, whether they're face-to-face or online. Absolutely.
Couldn't have said it any better. Well, hey, thanks a lot, guys, for joining me. I will include right here on the screen, there's your link to access our resources. Judy has promised some things that'll be available there on that website to be able to see some of the examples that she's talking about, give you a good start to either use, adopt, adapt someone else's lesson, or have an idea of how to start creating your own hyperdocs to utilize in your classroom. As always, contact any of us at the emails that you'll see at the end of this video, and we'll help you with any kind of integration of technology that your heart desires. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Nice seeing you.
Right.